What is going on, you guys? I am back with another video. So this is gonna be a raw camera video. I wish I could like show some footage, but I'm not that fancy yet. I'm still a new YouTuber. Well, I'm not really a new YouTuber, but I'm still a new channel. But anyway, I want to talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield. Well, particularly Pokemon Sword because that's the version I got, and I got Pokemon Sword last year in June, right around time for my birthday. Hey, Blue. So I want to do like a retrospective of Pokemon Sword because the games has been out for nearly 2 years now, and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl coming out right around the corner. So I just want to get my thoughts on like the first Generation 8 Pokemon game, and just want to like give my like thoughts on how has it hold up since the expansion pass has been out now, since the all the new changes has been added since it released in 2019. So let's get on with it. So I got Pokemon Sword again last year. I didn't get it at launch because for one I didn't have a Switch yet, so I couldn't get the game at launch, and two I was broke, so I wasn't able to get the games at launch, and but I did look at reviews of Sword and Shield, and reviews were pretty. No, not this one. Sorry, the reviews were pretty negative when it first came out. Like I still remember when people were saying, "Oh my gosh, this game is trash. It's like the worst Pokemon game ever." People were hating on this game, like viscerally hating on this game, and it was probably the most hated Pokemon game I ever seen since Black and White. I did, even though Black and White has fair share of hate when it first came out, the hate has pretty much died down since the 3DS era. But man, oh man, I remember that Gen 5 hate pretty well because I was in high school when those games came out. But um, it was definitely a controversial Pokemon game, but for a different reason than Gen 5. Gen 5 got so much hate because it was so different than the old gens. It was very disconnected from the older generations. Whereas Generation 8, it got hated mainly because of it felt too samey. It felt like it was supposed a 3DS game, port to the Switch. It felt the games were pretty easy, which I haven't in a while. The people say the games are pretty easy, and people were saying that, oh, it's trash, it's easy. And my opinion, I mean, yeah, yes, the games were pretty easy. I'm not gonna lie. Pokemon Sword and Shield. I pretty much breezed through the game within a few days. It does take me. It never takes me long to beat a Pokemon game, but I pretty much breezed through Sword and Shield, and then plus my cousin already had the games. My cousin already had the game, so I already had somebody to trade with. So it was a lot easier for me because my cousin already had the game, and the game's had already been out for several months by that point. So I had somebody to trade with to help me get through the game pretty easy. But even without my cousin, I still it was still pretty easy compared to the older games. This game had experience share locked on. So if you level around your Pokemon, you can you'll pretty much have a team full of strong Pokemon by the time you get to the gym leader. So it's definitely easier to level grind and Sword and Shield than it is in older Pokemon games where you only get the experience share for one Pokemon, and you have to like switch trading. Do like switch trading where you have to like put the Pokemon you're training in front of your team, and then you switch it out to your so whatever Pokemon you're training, whatever Pokemon you have in your other Pokemon you have in the party. So it does make training more convenient, which I can see why people have a problem with that. But as somebody who has played the older games, level grind could be a pain in the butt sometimes, specifically in Johto. If you ever play the Johto games, you appreciate XP share more because Johto games are like super hard to level grind. Um, the other generations, not so much. I mean, like I'm playing the original Pokemon Diamond right now, and I'm pretty over leveled. I was pretty over leveled in my first two battles. So I mean, you could technically overlevel any Pokemon game, really, if you a don't catch a lot of Pokemon, and b you just if you and if you just play the game like 10 hours, like 20 hours a day. If you play the game like excessively, then of course you're gonna have overlevel Pokemon. But for most people just like train like one or two Pokemon and then just like hopefully get a steamroll a gym or a steamroll to Pokemon League. Because I know in Gen 1 I was super on the level, but I still won. But in most Pokemon games, I at least try to be around the same level as the gym leader or the Elite Four, so I don't get like steamrolled because nobody likes to be steamrolled in an important battle. So, but yeah, training in Gen 8 was definitely a lot easier. Another thing they added was Gmax and Dynamaxing, which is basically like Mega Evolutions, but not as it's not as OP as Mega Evolutions, because Mega Evolutions were pretty overpowered. But Gmax and Dmax and Dynamaxes are basically make your Pokemon a lot bigger, and you can just like duke it out, and they have like instead of having like the original move sets, instead of using the original move sets when they like a normal form, they have like different move sets when they like in Dynamax or Gmax form. Gmax form is a little different in Dynamax and Gmax. They actually had Pokemon have their own like specific move that only they can use. So it's kind of like a mix between Z moves in Gen 7 and Mega Evolutions in Gen 6. The only problem with Dynamaxing and Gmaxing is like they're probably gonna take it out next generation. Like I was really upset they took out Megas because I really felt like Megas could have been like a staple of the series going forward. Like there's so many Pokemon that should have had Megas that didn't get Megas. Like the Johto starters, the Sinnoh starters, the Nova starters. Like they Dragonite. I mean, even though Dragonite's already a strong Pokemon, but they gave it a Garchomp and Salamence. They should at least get a Dragonite. Like he's like the only Pseudo without Mega. At the moment, that's from the older generations. Um, oh yeah, and Hydreigon, yeah, he didn't get one either. But yeah, they didn't they don't show a lot. They show some love to some Pokemon, but most of Megas are from Gen 1 and Gen 3. So that's what kind of makes it kind of lame. They get charged of two Megas and Mewtwo. And what's even crazy about Charizard in this generation, he has a G-Max form. He already had two Megas in X and Y. So it kind of makes it like, okay, they just pandering, which is another problem that Pokemon has had since Gen 6. It's the Gen 1 pandering. Um, but I'm glad I would have said X Sword Shield was probably like the worst in the series for me. I probably would have said that. Had it not had the expansion pass, the expansion pass definitely made it a lot better, and it definitely made it more completed than Gen 6, because Gen 6 felt very rushed, felt very bare bones. Like it didn't have like a C or anything like that. They have like a Pokemon Z, nothing like that. It's basically like X and Y. Then you have Omega Ruby out of Sapphire, which is a remake of Ruby and Sapphire. But the thing about Oras is that yes, it added more to X and Y, but it wasn't Hoenn. We still could have did more with Kalos. Like they could at least let us visit Kalos or something. But you know, that's why I feel like Gen 8 is not as bad as people make it out to be. Yes, it's like easier, but they did. But Gen 8 it does have some challenging battles. Like the champion is probably like one of the hardest champions I've fought since Cynthia. I mean, Leon wasn't super hard to beat, but his Charizard definitely caught me off guard. Like I was not expecting him to know um, Grass Knot at all, but because nobody teaches a charge like Grass Knot. But yeah, I did. I was able to beat Leon my first try, which is good. But yeah, Leon's probably the most toughest champion since Cynthia. Him and Kukui are probably about to even out for me. I know Kukui was pretty tough too, but Cynthia, man, ooh yeah. I wonder how they're gonna either nerf her or buff her for the remakes. But anyway, I'll give Sword and Shield And 8 out of 10. It's a fun game. Definitely not perfect. The graphics are meh, really. Um, you know, but it's not the best thing I've seen on a console, but it's definitely not the worst thing I've seen on console. It's a fun game. Um, it's definitely beginner friendly. So if someone who's new to Pokemon, someone who hasn't played a Pokemon game in years, it's definitely something that's beginner friendly. It's more casual. So because I know like newer Pokemon games, they try to appeal to the old school fans, those who stopped playing Pokemon like 15, 20 years ago. And so they pretty much forgot all the new mechanics. But for those who kept up through the series from Gen 1 on, who kept up from the series, I never like left, though are the ones who are most disappointed with Gen 8. But I feel like Sword and Shield is fun. I wish the whole lack of no national Pokédex things did kind of suck in some ways, but again, the DLC made up for that. So I feel like the DLC definitely fixed some issues that the original games had, but still not my favorite Pokemon game, but definitely a lot better than what it was in 2019. So that being said, this is Mario signing off.